So I worked in the catering industry from college. So my course at college was a catering HND in those days, because we didn't have that many courses at good degrees. And so I did my training at Brighton Polytechnic, as it was then. It's now Brighton University, and then went straight into contract catering, or this is workplace catering, and started working my way through different levels of management. So I did that for over 20 years, because I would work my way through different companies and to different levels, to the point that I had got to operations director. That I did for 9 years, and I enjoyed it initially, but ended up working in different parts of the country. I ended up working in 3 different regions, but I felt that I didn't want to do the next job. I wasn't really feeling the love for that job. So I was in a bit of an impasse, really. So this was in my 40s, probably my sort of early 40s. And it was that feeling that you still had potentially another 20 years worth of work ahead of you, but I didn't know what I wanted to do and where to go. So I'd had some level of success, but didn't really feel that I wanted to do the very senior levels of management, but hadn't tapped into what I could do. So I had a very understanding boss at that time who arranged for me to have some mentoring. And the first thing this mentor said to me was, "Why don't you do an MBA?" And I said, "I've always thought about doing it and quite like the idea of it, but hadn't ever pursued it past that." So that was all the encouragement I needed, really, was to go away and look into different courses and see what it was about, and actually why would I do it. And that sent me off into a totally different direction. And that's when I then started looking at different MBA courses and what was going to work for me. I think at that point, I still thought I was going to be doing the same job, but doing an MBA alongside it. So it would always be a distance learning course. And so I kind of did my research and found that Henley Business School was the best option for me. It was a revelation. I was extremely anxious when I went on my first day, because I expected to be and was, I think, one of the oldest on the course. I hadn't done any studying of that type. I'd never done anything more than an HND. I'd not even got a degree. So I did feel quite inadequate and did wonder what on earth I'd let myself in to do. And so I was quite anxious on my first day. And it was reassuring that I actually wasn't the only person that was a more mature age group. I was certainly the oldest female, but not the oldest in the room. And actually, after a little while, it didn't matter anymore. Submitting that first piece of work, my first assignment, I was extremely anxious, because I just thought, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not sure I'm up to this, and usual things that self-doubt creeps in. But I did better than I expected for my first piece of work, and that just lifted me up thereafter. And I just loved it. It just was a burst of energy that I didn't know that I had. I just loved learning new things. The self-doubt disappeared after a while. The group of people that I was working with in my study groups were just great fun. And yeah, I was probably the matriarch of the group, but that was fine. I didn't mind that, because that was my skill sets that I could help them with what they were trying to do. But I learned so much from them as well. It was just wonderful. I would say grab it with both hands. It changed it, and it's said, sometimes people say these statements and it's just a bit misleading, but it absolutely changed my life. I was more confident. I was prepared to try new things, which is much harder to do when you get to a certain stage in your life. And it's allowed me to do stuff that I never thought I'd do. So I'm now running my own company. I'm on the board of an institute. I have been chairing different groups that I was involved with. I just felt that nothing was going to stop me doing anything now. So it was only me that was going to limit it. And that's what I proved to myself. And it just opened up so many doors. And it was unlocking that part of me that I just felt was never allowed to develop. And I just feel so grateful I had the opportunity. So yeah, it wasn't easy, and it wasn't something that you should undertake lightly, because, you know, it's 3 years of a lot of work, but I've never regretted it, and I've encouraged other people to think about it. But there's so many people that have said, oh, I've always wanted to do that. No, if you always wanted to do that, you would do it. And, you know, don't just say it. If you're going to do it, and grab it with both hands.